Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I got some thumbs up. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Ryan's Reach Night of Laughter Therapy. I am so delighted that we have a lot of people joining us tonight. I guess you're in the mood to laugh. I know I am. I want to thank everybody for signing up and giving us an hour of your time. And I want to especially thank people who work on Zoom constantly, and you decided it was worth getting on Zoom for one more hour and on a Sunday night. And I hope that we make it worth your while. I think that we will. I want to give you a little overview of what tonight, this 1 hour, is going to be. I may talk a little fast because I'm so aware of just having 1 hour with you. March is Brain Injury Awareness Month. And so we wanted to do this event to bring, obviously, some awareness to a cause that is so near and dear to us, Ryan's Reach. And I will be showing you a video about Ryan's Reach, and I'm going to give you some bullet points about what we do, but also I'm going to talk about High Hopes Head Injury Program, which we are very much connected with. And after that, I'm going to show you the video. And after that, we're going to laugh. We're going to have a fabulous comedian, Robert G. Lee. And so that's really what we're going to get done in 1 hour. So those of you that are just, coming on, I think I know a lot of you. I probably know most of you. But in case you've never seen me before and don't know who the heck I am Lindy Michaelis. I'm part of the Boone family. And I am Ryan Corbin's mother and a co-founder of Ryan's Reach. And I won't tell you too much about how we got started. That's probably going to get covered later. But I do want to mention that Ryan's Reach has two main purposes, main parts of our mission. And one is to help people that have incurred a severe brain injury. We want to help them to get therapy after insurance runs out. And we do that through supporting High Hopes Head Injury Program. And the other thing that we do is we've started a group home situation. We've started one group home. It went so well, we were able to start another one recently. And we want to update you and give you visuals about how important that is for people in the brain injury community. So first, I want to talk about High Hopes. And to do that, I'm going to introduce you to the director of High Hopes Head Injury Program. His name is Mark Desmond.
Hi, everybody.
And I'm going to just let him tell you how that got started. How long has High Hopes been around and what you built it into?
Well, thank you. I'd like to start off by thanking this young lady right here next to me. It's amazing all the things she does besides take care of Ryan and building two group homes and helping others.
We have to mention my husband does the lion's share of the work. I can't sit here and not mention Mike.
I wasn't going to forget Mike or Bill or Tim and others that all team up together to make all this possible. High Hopes, we're the first brain injury program in the United States, and we started in 1975. And
I always forget. That's, amazing.
A little while ago.
Yes.
And we, in those days, it was said, don't bother with brain injury. Nobody ever improves. We've been able to disprove that over all these years. We never had anyone not improve. We don't give up on anyone. And I am a witness of many miracles that I've witnessed myself at High Hopes. The ones that are given up on the most, a lot of times are the ones that beat the odds and improve the most. High Hopes, we are a nonprofit charitable organization, and we are dedicated to help these people recover their lives. And whether it takes 1 year or many years, we don't give up on anyone. And we are located in Tustin, and people come from all over Orange County as well as Southern California and throughout the country. We've even had people outside of the country come to High Hopes for services. We have the most advanced robotics available on the planet. And thanks to your support, everybody at High Hopes is under scholarship. And events like this raises money to be able to allow these people to receive services.
Yeah, while you mentioned that, even though there was no ticket price to attend this evening. We want this to be more about bringing awareness, and then raising money is secondary. But you can always go to ryansreach.com, and if anything moves your heart to want to donate, you just go to ryansreach.com, and there's an easy place to donate. And you could do that tonight, or you could do it later. We just want this to be informative and entertaining mostly. And now I just wanted to ask you, when Ryan started going to High Hopes, I think there was maybe about 60 people that were attending over the week that you were helping. And now, what did you build it to at this point?
Before COVID, we built it to about 100 people in the program receiving services each week. We are smaller now, but we are growing again after the last year.
It will come back.
Yes,
people need you, and they weren't staying away by choice.
No,
so
exactly.
They will be back. And by the way, we've been vaccinated. That's why we can do this, right?
Both shots.
Yes. You know, you do have amazing programs, and when we could talk about that all night, but really what I want to do is talk about a case of one of your students. It has moved me so much. We've been able to provide scholarships for 8 to 10 people at a time, 6 months at a time. And then over many years, we've been able to help a lot of people. One of the students, he's not young, but he's been in your program how many years? We're going to talk about a guy named Mel.
2002.
Since 2002. And he was a pastor.
Yes.
And his brain injury came from, he was playing tennis, wasn't he?
He was playing tennis, and then he had a heart attack while he was playing tennis. And it was said by the paramedics that he was without oxygen for 15 minutes. And so it left Mel pretty impaired, but he did survive. And Mel came to High Hopes. He was originally in a convalescent hospital and eventually was able to go home, and has made progress, slow progress over all those years. Mel, it was all said that Mel wasn't, wasn't there.
No, this is a picture. I wanted to print out a picture. This is Mel, and he doesn't talk, but he can make some sounds. But nobody has really known if he was understanding what happened to him or what's going on around him. And was it around last year? Right
before the March 15th COVID break, Mel in his OT class started writing again.
With an iPad.
And with an iPad.
And a stylus.
And using his fingers. So originally, as Mel had no use of his hands or his arms, but over time he was able to start moving his fingers again, and he was able to start writing. Mel, he would laugh a little bit at people's jokes, especially mine, but he would.
So he could hear you.
He could hear, but people said, "Oh no, that wasn't him laughing. That was just a noise."
Then what started to happen?
And then at home, he started writing, very articulate.
His wife, Valerie, is just the most amazing woman, caring for him, loving on him, and his family. His whole family is so supportive, and it's an honor that we have been able to support him going to High Hopes. But it was really during COVID, I think, that they started doing more of the writing on the iPad, and she started to send me things that he had written, and my jaw just dropped, and I just want to share it with you. This is one. I said, I know he loves High Hopes. Can you send me something that I can share with our supporters, something that Mel has said about going to High Hopes? This was from May 18th last year, and he has written, I know that we're going back to High Hopes. Now, he's saying this to his wife, and this is during the lockdown, and he couldn't be at High Hopes. I know that we're going back to High Hopes when coronavirus is over. He knew about the coronavirus. I like to be there. Please tell them I can write. You can let Mark know how great it is, because he even believed that I could progress to this point. I am so thankful that we're able to go. Just give them my special thanks, everyone there, because they all helped me. Sorry, it hit me again. It's pretty amazing that this man has been locked in since what year?
2002.
Unable to communicate. And what he's writing is how grateful he is. So that's why it's an honor to be able to help people, because you just don't know what they're going through. And some of them can't express it. So I had to share that with you. And now,
Never say never.
Never say never.
And as long as we, there is a way, and one should never give up.
No.
Mel's a perfect example.
Yeah, definitely. I want to now introduce our video that does describe our group homes, because that's the other thing that we are really focused on with Ryan's Reach. Got to know a lot of people, because Ryan goes to High Hopes as well. And over time, you meet a lot of other families going through the same thing. And Ryan lives with us. We're able to care for him because he got a settlement, and we are able to have caregivers with him. And over time, I started to meet families who were the caregivers, and they knew that they couldn't do it forever. They'd either age out of it, or their own health takes a hit, because it's very relentless, and it takes a lot out of you to care for somebody. Some of them are very completely dependent. And so they would express concerns and worries about what happens if something happens to me. Who will take care of my son, my daughter? And so that weighed on me. I kept thinking that's something Ryan's Reach ought to take on. And over time, we were able to raise money, and thanks to my husband, who really figured out a way to do it, we were able to start our first group home in Tustin. And we now have a second one, but the first one has been operational for about 5 years. We have 5 full-time residents there. And I will let the video tell you the rest. I do want to introduce that the main gal who's in the video is named Stephanie, and her brother Shawn is one of our residents. He's been there for about a year, and he was in a car accident that gave him a severe brain injury. So she's going to tell her story. And if you're ready, please go ahead and run the video of Ryan's Reach.
Look at how fast you're taking these steps. Turn around. Here's your big chorus.
Here we go.
She always has to go high.
Almost 20 years ago, we had our own experience with a severe traumatic brain injury. My son Ryan stepped on a skylight on the roof of his apartment building, and he fell 3 stories. And he incurred a very severe brain injury. It took us into a world we knew nothing about, and now we know more about it than we ever thought we would.
Say, I'm a pedestrian.
A good-looking pedestrian.
A good-looking pedestrian.
When we started Ryan's Reach about 1.5 years after his accident, we thought the best way we could help people with brain injury would be to help High Hopes, because they were helping quite a number of brain injured individuals. So we started scholarshiping people to be able to attend High Hopes. Over time, though, we started to talk to families, because we were meeting a lot of people with brain injured loved ones. And mothers and fathers and spouses were worried about what's going to happen when I can no longer take care of them myself. And so we decided this is something Ryan's Reach needed to take on. And in 2016, we were able to open the first Ryan's Reach R&R. That stands for Respite Care and Residence. Respite Care is so that we can help people that aren't ready to place their loved one, but they can certainly use a vacation, take a break for some self-care. I call it coming up for air. They don't even realize how much they need to come up for air until they get a chance to. We started Ryan's Reach with that in mind, but also full-time residence for families who have just given all they can and they've exhausted their resources.
I got a call on November 8th, 2018, and it's a call that nobody ever wants to get. It was my brother's credit card company telling me that he had been in a bad accident, and they couldn't tell me any more. They couldn't tell me his condition, and he was at Loma Linda Medical Center, and I found my brother on life support. And it was the hardest decision in my family's life, I think, to decide on what to do. And we were told there was maybe a 2% chance he would wake up from his coma. A couple days later, he opened his eyes, and every hospital worker told us that it was going to be a long journey. Shawn was a miracle. He was walking, he was talking, but nobody was home. He has no memory, and thankfully, Shawn went to a home called Chino Congregate, and they told us about Ryan's Reach, and it's been a godsend for my family. My mom would love to quit her job and stay home and take care of Shawn, but she's just not able to. And this place gives my brother a chance to have a life, hope for more healing, the opportunity for more healing and therapy. There's nothing else really like it.
This is how we do it.
This is Otto, and he's been at Ryan's Reach for about a year and a half.
That's right, 18 months.
18 months. And do you remember why you live at Ryan's Reach, Otto?
Yeah, because of my head injury.
Okay, and you were, how did your head injury occur?
Unfortunately, I was assaulted, and a guy that I was not prepared for, but the guy came and he struck me, and he pretty much knocked me out. It was not a cool experience at all. But I'm better now. And you know, with all the people here at Ryan's Reach and everything, they've helped me and assisted me in everything that I need to do. So I'm grateful for that.
And what's your favorite part about living here?
The interactions with everybody, you know? Everyone's so positive and so, how can I say, willing to do things for others. You know, so it makes things a lot easier here.
You'll never know, dear, how much I love you.
Everyone, this is Rebecca, and she's lived at Ryan's Reach since 2016 when they opened. And Rebecca suffered an acquired brain injury after giving birth to her second child, a baby girl. And Rebecca is more aware than people give her credit for. She's gotten a lot stronger since she's been at Ryan's Reach. She can even feed herself to an extent, but you know, much better than when she got here. She's still in there. Huh. You're there. True. True, she's there. She just needs some help strengthening to get it out.
No blues. Back to you.
So Nathan, I heard that you had a stroke when you were 19 years old. Could you tell us a little bit about what you remember, the feeling you had, or do you not remember anything at all?
I don't really remember much, but I remember here is a really great place.
Mm-hmm. How has Ryan's Reach helped you since you've lived here? What do you love about it?
It's conveniency and it's welcoming and it feels like a second home, or it is a second home.
So you feel like you still have a chance to live your life?
Yeah.
Even though you need some assistance, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what is your favorite part about living here?
Oh, it's a tough one.
I think I can guess.
What?
It's a card game.
Uno?
Yeah. You play it 100 times a day, right? We could say you're an Uno champion.
Okay, Freddie Mercury. Like your laugh, Stephanie.
Thanks so much, Nathan.
Trying to get creative.
You want to get creative?
Wayne, I would say, has the most memory of his accident because it happened a long time ago. Wayne, tell them about your accident, what happened, and how long you've had a traumatic brain injury.
I've had a traumatic brain injury since 1993, September 4th. I was racing motocross. I was doing a triple jump, and I only made 2.5. And well, what else was it you wanted to know?
And then I'm guessing you fell on your head, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yep.
So it happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
So you've healed and you've come a long way, right?
I've almost healed,
Yes.
but I'm not going to heal. This is about as far as I'm going to come.
And I would say your biggest struggle is short-term memory, correct?
I would say my biggest struggle, yeah, probably the memory loss. I also have the seizures, though. And the seizures are a big problem because when I have them, it throws me back a little bit.
And then your mom, the seizures got to be too much for her and she
Yeah.
needed a place like Ryan's Reach
Yeah,
to help take care of you, right?
She looked all over the place for a place like Ryan's Reach, and she finally found it. and this place has been wonderful for me.
What's your favorite part about Ryan's Reach?
The food. No,
You
the
get
care-
all
the
your
care-
meals cooked for
The
you.
care
That's-
providers
Yeah.
take wonderful care of me. They do help me out so much. They take care of me. They make sure everything's there for me.
And if you have a seizure, they're close by. They're there, and
Correct. Correct.
they can help you, and they know
Yeah.
what to do.
That's correct.
It was really hard for your mom to find a place. It was hard for my family to find a place. There's like none.
There isn't.
Yeah.
There's nothing like this place. And once you find it, you want to stay because there's nothing else like it. This is the place to be.
If you have a brain injury.
Right.
Okay, ready? Let's put that in the trash can, okay?
This is Shawn, my little brother. We are 4 years apart. He is 33 years old, and he's been at Ryan's Reach since November 8th, 2019. So literally 1 year to the day of his accident anniversary, Shawn came here on his 1 year accident anniversary, and it felt so meant to be. Everything just fell into place, and we're so grateful for Ryan's Reach. Now, Shawn still has some struggles. He doesn't really remember things. I would say seconds to seconds, like 10 seconds ago, he won't remember, doesn't really know where he is or what's going on. He still thinks he goes to work sometimes. But Shawn, what is your favorite part about Ryan's Reach? Can you think of something fun that you get to do here?
I don't know, rebuilding cars.
Rebuilding cars, okay. Well, we don't really do that, but Shawn used to be a mechanic, so he loves to do that. So his room is full of cars, and he does have some model cars we've tried to have him put together, and hopefully one day we'll make some progress on all of that. Shawn goes on walks with his main caretaker, Lynette, who is a godsend. She helps Shawn get in the shower, shave, brush his teeth. People who have brain injuries do a lot better with a routine, so she helps him stay true to that routine, so he's successful. You know, this is a miracle right here, and we'll take it. High five. I love you.
I love you too.
We are serving the population that is underserved by the state of California. And the reason why we're focused on that age group is that if a person, and I hate to phrase it this way, but if a person were lucky enough to have acquired their brain injury prior to age 18, then the state of California provides tremendous benefits to those individuals under what's called the Lanterman Act. But there is no similar financial assistance for persons that are over age 18 when they acquire or suffer a traumatic brain injury. And that's who we're trying to help out.
We're hoping for more. We think there has to be a lot more of these kind of homes for people that are not ready for the nursing home. And up to now, all these people would have been placed in a nursing home. So thank you for being generous in the past, if you have been, and thank you for listening to what we've shared with you. And I hope that you'll continue to be moved by the stories of these adult, lovely people who had just a very unfortunate accident, a very sad day, and now they need help, and they need you.
Well, that really tells the story much better than I could.
Wasn't that wonderful?
Yeah. I have to say thank you to Stephanie, Shawn's sister. I asked if she would help me put this video together. She instantly said, absolutely. I've been so blessed to have people come alongside Ryan's Reach to help us get the word out. And she has some background with television, and she recruited a friend who came and did some of the camera work and found an editor, did the editing. And I just am just blessed beyond what I can say at how people come together to help others. So thank you, Stephanie. I'm so, it's a treasure what you put together there. And I thank you. You were going to say one more thing about High Hopes, about how everybody loves each other there.
Well, I was really going to say it was about Ryan's Reach. One of the things when you walk into the home, everybody really gets along very well and just loves being in the home. And I love the video presentation because you get to see a real insight into everybody's personalities.
Yeah.
And I think we have some comedians already that are going to compete with you in a few moments. I was laughing at some of them and some of the things they would say. So it is a pleasure working with everyone. And it's Lindy's done a phenomenal job, as well as everyone else in Ryan's Reach, all the people that make it all possible.
Well, again, I will say one more time, you can always go to ryansreach.com and donate to what we're trying to accomplish. I hope you're moved and want to help us, and we will always keep you posted on what we're doing. Now it is time. It is time for us to get to the funny stuff. I want to introduce you to a friend, but also a very amazing comedian. His name is Robert G. Lee, and he is well known. I'm going to go through my cheat sheet here. I did not memorize this, but he is well known in the entertainment industry as Hollywood's top warm-up comic. So Robert is a veteran of over 1,500 episodes of shows like The New Adventures of Old Christine and Just Shoot Me and Becker and the reboot of One Day at a Time. And he is no stranger in front of the camera. Robert has been seen on The Huckabee Show and VH1 Stand-Up Spotlight, Comic Strip Live, and many roles on sitcoms like Wings. And one of my favorite old sitcoms was Perfect Strangers. I want to see that again. I want that to come back. And he just released his own comedy special on Dry Bar Comedy. So I hope you will look that up. He can also be heard on Sirius Radio. Yeah, I couldn't believe this when I read this. Nationwide, thousands of times a month on Laughs USA. So if you have Sirius Radio, go there and you'll catch some more of Robert. But after watching our video, you guys all know that life can be hard and brain injury can make things serious, and COVID and pandemics can make things serious, but there is a therapy, and laughter is a great medicine. So right now, I am offering that to you from Ryan's Reach, from us to you. May we present your laughter therapist, Robert G. Lee.
I feel joyful. I'm so happy that you're doing this. But man, funny went out the window about 10 minutes ago. I'm touched. I'm moved. So everyone just give money to Ryan's Reach. Let's just close this up. I think we're done. Because I was thinking, okay, I'll start this off because we're all experiencing COVID and we've come out of it. But again, it's a hard turn transition from something really life-threatening and such a good cause to what we've all experienced in this pandemic. But to start it off, I'm going to bring up, this is Virus Smirus by the culturally canceled Dr. Seuss. I thought I would start us off with a bedtime story, just to kind of sum up this last year and where we're going. Come out, I've come to shout. The day is new, the sun is out. Grab your gusto, seize the day. Drop your chores, come out and play. Oh, I could not play with you today. Inside is where I'll have to stay. Not out between the grass and hay or hill or dale where one could stray. Think not for a moment I want it this way. I want nothing more than to come out and play. But outside lurking, there is a germ that's causing much concern. And though we yearn, we must be stern, for playing outside will spread this germ. Or maybe not, there's much to learn. But so for now, we'll quarantine and travel not to where we've been. Stay inside is what we'll do, and wear a mask till we turn blue. We'll hunker down and muddle through, attack every closet ready to spew, go to the store and stand in the queue, diddle and dawdle and eat beef stew, binge every show there is to view, and zoom to places we previously flew. We'll nap with our cats and go nuts just a little, while we promise tomorrow to sort out life's riddles. But when we are done, oh, it will be time for such fun. Fun with Tom, Dick, and Sally and each son of a gun. We'll run at full blast until we outrun the past. Take to the seas with our sails at full mast, hurrying and scurrying to take in all that we can. We missed you, young lady. Great to see you, old man. The mind will explode with places to go, restaurants and movies and seeds to sow. I'll fly to Spain to visit a cat. Then maybe Toledo, because that's where it's at. Then on to New Orleans, where Tuesdays are fat. I'll wrestle a toucan upon a mat, work with the feds to take out a rat, go to the gym and work on my lats, sit on a couch where Gandhi has sat, lie in the shade in a coonskin cap, buy a trombone and make it blat, barter a trade between tit and tat, swallow a camel, strain out a gnat. But we won't do squat until these waves are flat. And never, oh never, ingest a bat. So these are the words that I put down on papyrus to tell the tale of the great virus Smyrus. There you go. Bye, Dr. Seuss, sort of actually canceled. Again, it pales in comparison to your video, Lindy, but I thought I would start off with something sort of fun. I start off with that because I just want to open up with some hope. I think your video gives hope, and I think all of us have forgotten what hope is. Does anybody out there remember hope? Do you remember we used to have it? There was a thing called hope. It's like, I knew it was upset. I just never knew it would, I didn't think it would leave. I guess that's, it's like, come on, baby, I know I was bad, but no, I can do better. Come on back. There are so many things that I wish were still here, but the year of the pandemic, I think, depressed the entire world. And I started thinking, what would happen if some of our most hopeful songs and videos and movies were released in this last year? It would have been so totally different. Like Happy Days would have been Monday, Tuesday, crappy days. That's how it would have been. That would have been the start of the year. From Annie, it would be, let's see now, your stocks will go down tomorrow. At your bottom dollar, that tomorrow there'll be none. The Muppets would have been, why are there so many songs about failures? Life's on a downward slide. Failures a given. With this crap we're given, just bury your head and hide. That's the kind of thing I was thinking of. I think the worst would have been, well, just from Zippity Doo-Dah from Song of the South. Zippity Doo-Dah, zippity-a, guess which lives will matter today. Maybe it was too political. Maybe I shouldn't have done that one. I don't know. But that's what this year was. This year was a lack of hope, and I think just imagine if the Beatles had written songs as depressing. It's like, imagine there's no. Oh wait, they did. Never mind. There are things I miss. I must admit, after a year of COVID, like going out to restaurants, I miss that terribly. The last time I went out, the waiter had on a mask and then a shield and then saran wrap around that. How safe do you have to be? I guess that's my question. I have been living for a solid year. I know everyone's dealt with the pandemic in their own way, but it's been a solid year in the same house with one person. And unfortunately, I love my wife, but the last summer, she started watching a lot of murder mysteries. And she's like, hey, how much insurance do you have on you? What medicines are you allergic to? Those kind of things frighten me a little bit. It's like every day in our house it's a knock-knock joke. It's like, knock-knock, who's there? You! Who's here? How could I miss you if you won't go away? I tell everyone, see, we downsized. I used to have a big house, but we downsized when the kids went out. So now we're stuck in this little townhome, and our kitchen is so small, it's like, well, it's like you're a square dancer. It's like, oh, step to the middle, circle to the right, turn off the stove, no need to fight. All don't see dough, grab those dishes as you go. That's pretty much what my life is right now. What my wife and I did during the entire pandemic, just to pass the time, because we couldn't go anywhere or do anything, is we watched old movies. Now, I don't know if any of you are as big of fans as I am, but I love movies. Well, basically, we watched a lot of film noir movies where the femme fatale was trying to figure out ways to bump off her husband. Wait a minute. Hey. Okay, I'll have to figure that one out. But when you watch movies from the 30s and 40s, it's so funny because all the actors went to the same school of over-enunciation. They all spoke exactly the same way. It's like, oh, really, Charles? I don't know how we'll get out of this disaster. Really, I don't. And that's a cowboy from Texas. That's how they all sounded. They all had the same accent. And then Marlon Brando came out. Remember Marlon Brando started the whole mumbling epidemic? I remember The Godfather so well. Nobody in the theater could understand him. He was like, oh, Michael, another one of this for you. People in the theater go, what did he say? I think he said Michael's a Jew. That's a Jew. That's The Godfather. And I wonder what would have happened if we had classic movie stars in today's movies. That's what I would want. I would want to see Humphrey Bogart in Dirty Dancing. It's like, puts baby in the corner. I want to see Lou Costello in Sixth Sense. I see dead people on first base. I want to see Katharine Hepburn in Star Wars. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, your only hope. I want to see Cary Grant in Jaws. We're going to need a bigger boat. It would work the other way around because today's stars, could you imagine some of today's stars in old movies? Like Owen Wilson, you probably know him from a couple of movies. Owen Wilson and Frankenstein just didn't have the same impact. It's like, oh, wow, he's alive. Oh, no, don't calm down. I'm just saying he's alive. Vin Diesel in Citizen Kane would have been Groot. That wouldn't have worked at all. Can you imagine any Kardashian at all in Gone with the Wind? After all, tomorrow's just another day. These are things that go through my mind as I sit watching old movies. As I'm getting ready to go out into the world post-COVID, I have a bucket list. Everyone has a bucket list of things that they want to accomplish. Like, now people want to save the environment, cure cancer. My bucket list is so simple. 5 minutes before I pass away, I want to find a group of millennials gathered together in a circle. And I just want to walk up and go, if I don't get the new iPhone in the next 5 minutes, I'll just die. That's really what I want. That's what I want. On this here, I do have a goal to go out and react with kindness and generosity in every situation because I've yet to do that. So I thought maybe once for a bucket list, it'd be a good idea. But I ruled that out as soon as I started driving again because I try to be a good Christian boy, and whenever I just like, God bless you, child of God, who never learned how to use a turn signal. I don't know how many of you. It's like I'll just be driving along. I have a dream that you'll learn how to merge. Those are the things as I'm driving. I don't know how many of you rationalize your behavior. I rationalize my behavior with comparing myself to really, really bad people. So no matter what I do, it's always like, well, I didn't kill anybody. I'm not as bad as Hitler. Generally, the people I compare myself to, I would be one of the disciples. It turns out it's Judas, but still top 12. So I think before anybody thinks that I'm complaining too much, I realize that I have an absolutely privileged life. What we've been given is just amazing. And here's just a small little sample of what I experience pretty much on a daily basis. First off, I wake up in a bed that is so covered with pillows and comforters and blankets. Most mornings, I can't find my wife. It was about a week ago, I gave a half-hour massage to a duvet. I have no idea what she's doing. I get up and I walk into a separate room and I just turn knobs on the wall and fresh water comes out like Moses calling water from the desert. And then I put on clothes I didn't make, eat food I didn't make, breathe in air into lungs I didn't make, and I haven't even started my day yet. I go downstairs, and for breakfast, I don't have to slaughter a cow. I don't have to milk anything. I just open a box, pour the contents into a bowl, and if I happen to be out of fruit, I don't have to go outside and climb a tree. I don't even have to go to the store. I just dial a number, and fruit is brought to me, to my door. Now, it's amazing. Bananas still go bad the minute they walk into my house, but still I can order them online. When breakfast is over, I walk 15 feet to my office. That's my commute. That's my difficult commute. It's 15 feet. except for the days that I have a gig someplace. And then I drive a magic compact box through the corridors of the street, yelling at other people of God's creation that don't know how to drive. And I go to the airport and I get into a 40-ton metal bird that against all reason takes off into the sky. And I'm sitting on 30,000 pounds of fuel. And instead of praying for the safety of my people around me, I'm usually praying that the emotional support animal under my seat that's been barking for 3 hours will be gently stuffed into an overhead bin. But when I land, I get a rented magic machine and I drive through corridors until I stand in front of privileged people and I make them laugh and I amuse them. And if I don't amuse them, I'm not killed. I'm not put in stocks. I'm not executed. I get a bad Yelp review. That's the worst thing that happened to me. And then I go back to the airport with another magic machine, and I use a little handheld device, and you look up my friends and relations and see what they ate that day. That's what my life is. And then I can see how they think the world isn't going correctly. Anyway, then I fly home and I crawl back into my bed with my wife. And if I can find her, I usually tell her how hard my life is. That's my day. That's what I do. Forgive me for ever complaining. Now I do want, I realize I really didn't start off today with this, but I do want to apologize, and I should apologize, and I should have started off with this, but I want to say I'm sorry for my white privilege, income inequality, and just being a man in general. I just need to get that out of the way, because I think we all know that my demographic is apparently responsible for every bad thing that's happened in the world today, and I just need to apologize for it. So I'm just here to say I'm sorry for everything. I apologize for global warming. I'm sorry for the high cost of healthcare. I'm sorry that in California, AK-47s are legal, but plastic straws are not. I'm sorry for so many things. I'm sorry that you were all told you could be whatever you wanted to be when you grew up. How's that working out for you? Is it? If we all got what we wanted, we'd all be cowboys and Indians and ballerinas. So that's my fault. I accept full blame. I apologize for tsunamis, earthquakes, the last half of every Saturday Night Live. I want to apologize. I know there's a lot of women watching today. I want to apologize. Women, you go through so much. I'm so sorry. Women, the pain of childbirth, my fault. Just blame it on me. You can curse me in the delivery room. I'm sorry that you have to shave and wax everything. I enjoy it, so I'm a hypocrite, so I'm sorry for that. There are just so many things that I'm sorry for. So if you could, whenever you're angry, don't protest, don't go on, just blame me. Just blame me and get it over with. It'll make it so much easier. Now, as a comedian, it's been a very strange year, and you may think that this is a strange gig. It's not. This is not my strangest gig. I have had so many weird events. The only way we could do comedy this last year, well, my favorite was drive-ins. So we would go out to drive-ins and perform. I don't know if anybody did that or not, but they're really a lot of fun. So we'd go at night and stand in front of the screen, and they would project our picture up on the screen, and then cars would be in a semicircle around us. And if they like a joke, they honk or flash their lights. That was my life this past year. And then one time, way in the back, a horn got stuck. So I was either being heckled by a Hyundai, or it was a Tesla with Tourette's. I don't know which one it was, but they just wouldn't stop honking the whole time. But still, that's not my strangest. My strangest gig, probably all time, was I was asked to perform in a prison about a year and a half. Well, I say the judge said it was community service hours. That's what I like to say. I have a prison ministry. That's the way I like to look at it. I don't know how many of you have performed in prisons out there, but it's a very strange experience. Let me just say that, because I got out to the yard where I was performing, and there was no protection between me and 150 inmates except for one female guard over on the side with no gun. It was like the cast of Scarface being guarded by Thelma Lou. That was my whole. And when I was done, it was even stranger experience because no one left. Now today, when it's over, I assume people will get off Zoom, but evidently they had no other pressing engagement, so they all just stayed there. So there I was, surrounded by a sea of neck tattoos and the strangest meet and greet I've ever been on in my life. And I heard the absolute saddest comment in my entire life. One guy, I mean, it were great guys. It was after a chapel and it really was wonderful. And we talked and we prayed and it was a wonderful time. But this one guy said, I have been here for 18 years. That was the best hour I spent in the last 18 years.
Wow.
I know. And that was the warden. So that's what really, that's what got me. No, he really said that. And he was going to be there for 18 more. So that's the kind of life that I experienced. So I get these strange gigs. I know most people have normal jobs and most people have normal lives. And so people ask me, well, where do you get your material? I think it's pretty obvious by now. I just sort of live life, and whatever happens, I write it down, and then things just come up because I've never had a real job. And my experience here's just one example of things that happen to me that don't happen to people with real jobs, like doctors and lawyers. I was at a convention and it was sold out. So I had to sleep and room with another comic. Now this guy's a road warrior, and road warriors are the guys that have to train themselves to get up in the middle of the night and get to the airport early so they can get to the next gig. I've never had to do that because I was able to do warm-up TV shows and all that. I was able to stay in Hollywood. But I was in this room with this guy, and he was kind enough to let me stay with him. So he can't sleep unless the lights are on, the TV is on full blast, and he has a sleep apnea machine, which is great if you like sleeping next to Darth Vader. That's pretty much what it sounds like. So I have earplugs that helps with the TV, but I kind of like to sleep in the dark. It's a quirk. That's just something that I have. I have no idea how I'm going to be able to fall asleep because I don't have a sleep mask. I didn't come prepared for this. And then it hits me. I have clean underwear. So go with me on this. All right. So I get up and I put on a pair like a mask. And it's great because it has 2 ear holes and a convenient opening for my nose. I'll give you a minute all to picture that. And so I lie back and I'm feeling kind of like a superhero right now. I'm feeling a little bit like I'm Tidy Whitey Man. That's who I am. And I'm going to go. I'm waiting for my sidekick Boxer Boy, and we'll go out and fight my nemesis, Granny Panty. And so I'm just about to fall asleep with my underwear on my head. And I'm thinking to myself, what if I die like this? How would they explain this to my wife? Oh, Mrs. Levy, we found your husband in the hotel room with another man with underwear on his head. There's no way a eulogy can work that out. So I get up and I write a note. If found dead, please remove underwear. And I put it on the pillow next to me. And I'm about to fall off and I realize I've got to write another note. I write another note. The top ones. So I put that on the pillow. You can never be too sure. You don't know what's going to happen. I fall asleep and I wake up the next morning to the sound of laughter and the other comedians on the side of his bed. And he asked if I'm a dyslexic dresser, and I have to tell him that what I did when I did. And it turns out he's taken pictures of me, and he posted them on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I know it sounds bad, but I got a modeling deal with Fruit of the Loom, so actually it worked out great. It was the best thing that happened to me. But these are things that happen. Anything that happens to me eventually becomes a routine. And now that one I know most people can't relate to, but you can relate to this. Now, I don't know how many out there have grandchildren, but that is, you can tell I'm old. That is my goal at this point in my life. I want nothing more than to have grandkids so I can spoil them and play with them, but my children will not cooperate. And they don't understand the relationship. It's like, I gave you life. Now you give us life, something we can spoil and then give back to you. That's the rule. That's what happens when you have children. But my son is engaged to an absolutely lovely girl. And I tell my wife, I could care less how pretty she is. I don't care about her personality. Is she fertile? That's all I care about. That's really the only thing I'm concerned about. And every time I hug her and I turn to my wife and say, these are childbearing hips, don't you think? Evidently, that's rude for some reason. To get in training for future grandchildren, my wife and I babysit for some friends. And I don't know how many of you have gone out there and babysat for the next generation coming up, but my wife and I, we're totally exhausted. And it's not the kids. It is not the kids. It is the stack of rules that the parents leave for us with their kids. It is we have to feed, everything has to be organic. All the food has to be organic and farm fresh. We have to feed farm and cage-free chicken to their caged children. That's basically what has to happen, because their children aren't allowed outside without a police escort. And you have to understand, when I was a kid, we ran free. We were free range, but not today's kids. They're all confined. They have child-proofed the entire house. I understand hiding the knives. I have no problem with that. They put locks on the toilet, and I could not get it off. I was standing next to a wiggly 3-year-old going, gotta go potty, gotta go potty. It's like, aim for the window, kid, because this ain't coming off. I'm really sorry. I have no idea. They had an entire wing of their house devoted to toys. They had a dresser, a color-coded dresser for their 6 million Legos. You have to understand, when I grew up, I had 2 Lincoln Logs. That's what I had. So this was my playtime. Cross train track prison bars. That was my playtime. They had to have a bath, and all they did was play with Legos and eat organic food. How much of a sweat could they possibly have worked? and I always tell everybody that I don't know how many remember this, but when I grew up, we had a bath like once a month. It was pretty much on Saturday night. That's when you took your bath, and we never even got in because our parents were downstairs watching Bonanza. We just had one hand in the tub, just kind of splashing around. They never checked on us. So by the end of the summer, it looked like we had swarthy tans and one white glove. That's what it looked like. That was our cleaning system. What else boy, you guys are laughing, having a good time. We don't have that much time left. So what else should I talk about here? Well, obviously, a couple things are going on. And one is that I'm aging, and I'm not complaining about this. I'm perfectly happy to be alive. And I can't say it's better than the alternative, because I'm kind of looking forward to the other side. But when you get older, you have to work your mind around it, because originally, up to like last week, I thought I was middle-aged, and then I woke up and I realized I looked like the ghost of Christmas Future. So what I realized is that everybody goes through puberty pretty much the same way. I mean, you have the occasional girl that has hormones and she blossoms in 4th grade, and the rest of us pretty much at the same time. It's like, and for guys especially, it changes like that, because we're all in class, and the first period we sound like Mickey Mouse. It's like, hi teacher, how you doing? And then about 3rd period we sound like Darth Vader. It's like, I find the lack of curve on this test disturbing, and that's kind of what happens to us when we go through puberty. But old age hits everybody differently. I told my wife it's like being a car. You just never know what part is going to fall off first. I got out of bed and my fender fell off. It was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? There are certain things that happen to you, just like a car. You find out that you're leaking fluids. Your blinker starts going bad. Yes, your muffler's obviously shot because you're backfiring a lot more than you need to. And every morning when I get out of bed, I sound like I'm starting up a Model T. That's my morning. And I was out walking with my wife, and out of nowhere, and you don't know what's going to happen to you, out of nowhere, my thigh started hurting. My thigh. It's like, do I need a thiectomy? The thighs go bad? What on earth? And so I started going, Luke, I need a new leg. And I just want to, this is my advice to all you young people out there. You just get ready for old age, because one day out of nowhere it happens, and you start doing Walter Brennan impersonations that no one knows who he is. So I of course I had to have my physical. I went to see my doctor, and he told me all the things that can go wrong with a man my age. So I said, check everything. I had a pap smear and a mammogram. I had it all. I had everything. And he said I had to exercise more. Obviously in the time of COVID, it's really hard. But my wife and I joined the gyms because I'm an old swimmer. So we started swimming. But what I found was every time we went to the pool, there was a geriatric aqua aerobics class there that got in the water and didn't have the strength to get out. They were just there all the time. It was like a giant pod of dancing prunes. That's what it was. And it was like swimming through the hippo dance of Fantasia. That's the only way I can describe it. So it's like boring. So I started doing that, but my latest doctor visit, I walked in, and here's the amazing thing when you get to a certain age. My doctor doesn't even look me in the eye anymore. He just goes right below the waist. That's what he's concerned about. It's like, hello, doctor, hello, I'm up here, I'm up here. He looked at his chart and he says, I don't like these numbers. I think it's time we shove a camera up your wazoo. I go, whoa, no. We had a wazoo shoving just last year. He goes, no, that was your rear wazoo. This is your front wazoo. We could schedule a double wazoo shoving if you'd like. No, I do not want a double wazoo shoving. So no matter, this is what happens when you get old. It's like, well, I guess that's what's going to happen. So a week later, I'm in a paper gown on a table with a nurse and a doctor, and the doctor's making jokes, and like, hey, this is your first 3-way. He's really being obnoxious. And I'm trying to yell back at him, but I have so much nitrous oxide. I'm going, hey. That was my argument. And it just strikes me that no matter how much nitrous oxide they give you, you still feel violated. It's like, officer, I was violated. They flipped me a roofie, and they had their way with me, and I was violated. You try and say, no, I did. I said, but I want you to know, I'm so grateful for modern medicine, because what are they with the cameras they have today? What do they do in the 50s? Just bring in a sketch artist and go, is this your prostate?
Oh my
I know a lot of you are worried about my mental health right now. All right. We're going to wrap up with a few things. I am married. I do love my wife, although she has me do her errands, and she asked me to go to Home Depot to get some duct tape, rope, and a shovel. So I'm still worried about that. I don't know. We've been married almost 40 years, and we've gotten to the point where it's no longer forgive and forget. We just go straight to forget. That's it's like, I'm mad at you. I can't remember why. Tell everyone our dinner time conversation has begun to resemble congressional hearings. It's like, I have no recollection of the altercation under discussion. I can neither confirm nor deny my participation in those events. Please pass the peace. That's what our relationship is. We are engaged in 2 epic battles, and the first epic battle is what I call snore wars, because my wife says she can hear me snoring from a galaxy far, far away. And I am not conscious of this. I just tell her, well, if I'm Luke's snore walker, you're Princess Leia on her back and snores. It's like, it's that Darth Vader thing. It's like, you ought to go, stuff a socket at you, must hurt, quiet you will. Here's what happens. Again, I guess this is just a warning to the young people in the audience, because when you're with someone for a certain period of time, this is your sleep cycle. You're trying to sleep hard and fast until your wife wakes you up with snoring, then you nudge her, and then you try and fall asleep. And then she is awake, and then you're snoring, and then she nudges you, and she tries to fall asleep. So the sleep cycle is sleep, snore, nudge, sleep, snore, nudge, get up to pee, sleep, snore, nudge, then you're up. And so you've been in bed for 8 hours, but you slept for a total of 12 minutes. That's why old people love naps, because we're just in training for God just to slide us over to the other side, and we'll be satisfied, because we have not had a good night's sleep for decades. But the big event that is happening is how we engage with company. Now, this may not be a problem for a lot of you, but I've been married for almost 40 years, and one would think that I would have put out the cheese and crackers correctly at least one time. No, I almost did in 2008, but I was disqualified for over wheat thinning, and so it was thrown out. When guests come over, I'm a guy. I just think, close the doors where the mess is, and if they go into those rooms, it's on them. My wife has a doctorate in entertaining. And she's like she's like a Gestapo, and it's like, everything must be done perfectly on to plan. This is not just my wife. This is women and men all over the world. I guarantee you there are men in China right now who are being told that rice doesn't go in that bowl. I guarantee it. There's no doubt. It's been happening throughout history. I have no doubt that when Jesus had the Last Supper, Mary Magdalene came in and said, how many are you having? 50? No, you're going to have 12. You'll have lamb, bitter herbs, a little wine, and bread, and that's it. And don't expect me to clean up. That's what happens. And I will close with this because it's just appropriate for the whole thing. That my wife, when she entertains, she is so good at it. She is such a master at it. It becomes an emotional Broadway production. It says, to impress all our guests, clean the house, it's such a mess. Put some meat upon the grill, my dear, and I'll provide the rest. Let's not say who's in charge. You're the private, I'm the sarge. Here's the bakery, it's delicious. Listen to me, not those dishes. Pour the wine, take a chance. Maybe shower, put on pants. Our best china says we don't serve second best. Go on, lay out the fondue, dim the lights, and then you'll need confess. I impress all our guests. Now, that's my wife. Whereas me, I'm more of a rawhide type of guy. It's like, grilling, them hunger pains is killing. Your bellies I'll be filling, rawhide. I'll cook it to your pleasure from raw to leather. Pulled pork and wings served on the side. Wolf it down, grill it up, wolf it down, rawhide. Fill it up, chug it down, fill it up, wolf it down, rawhide. That's my life, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I have. So, I think I went 3 minutes over. I hope I don't get killed by Lindy. I was going to wear this on my head. It was already here, but I want to just make sure. The sticky's gone, but I think this is why we're here. This is what we're doing, and this is what you want to do. I gave money to it today. I have no money, I'm totally amazed. On the faith-based side of that, my wife and I are still alive a year after COVID. And it's totally because of the grace of God, the government stimulus checks, and every once in a while my neighbor has a package from Amazon that they don't pick up until we get to return it and make it it has been a wonderful year for me. I can't wait to get out into the civilization again, but it was a pleasure. Hopefully, a lot of you enjoyed laughing. I know I enjoyed performing for you, and thank you so much. I'm going to toss it back to Lindy, and I will just say I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me come on.
My goodness, everybody. That really is it. We said we were going to keep it to an hour. I think we came awfully close, but I do want to thank every single one of you for showing up. And I also want to hold up, I don't know, there's a glare on it, but this is Robert's book. And I read it and I want to recommend it. It's What's the Big Idea? And it says it's a comedian explains God, the universe, and other minor stuff. Now, he's a serious man, but he makes everything funny. And I highly recommend this book. It's a great read. I've been giving it to all my friends. So I recommend it to all of you. Thank you for being here tonight. And we'll see you at the next Ryan's Reach event. Thank you. You can push the red button.
Thanks, Lindy.
Thanks, Lindy's great.
Great.
Thank you.
God bless you all. Very funny, Robin.
Bless
Thank
all
you.
of you.
Bye. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye, Lindy.
Bye,
Bless you.
everybody.
Bye, Kurt.